I have been playing Fire Emblem 6 Project Ember for about 3 or 4 days, and despite the difficulties that I find with how the game works for me, I love it. I've been playing Fire Emblem ever since I was, I believe, about 11 or 12, and I've played up until, for the main games, up until I believe it was 2014, when right before they released Fates, and then I got tired of it. And I think the reason that I got tired of it was the game was moving towards more of a dating sim kind of end. And while it is nice, I very rarely got any supports in the game in general, and the games in and of themselves were a lot easier to complete. I remember very rarely did I think the only games that I ever completed any runs on were Sacred Stones and Blazing Blade. And I don't remember if I completed Hector mode and Eliwood mode on Blazing, or did I just do Eliwood, but I do remember the games fondly. I also really enjoyed playing both Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. Where I started slipping off was when they released Shadow Dragon, and the way that I play, I very much play as a um, no child left behind type of person, or no unit left behind. So every time a unit died, I would immediately restart the map. While I did enjoy the save points, I did not enjoy how easy it was for your units to die in that game. For record, no, I have not played 12. Yes, I would really want to play 12, but I don't have the necessary means to play it right now, and I'm still a little bit sketchy on playing ROM hacks, especially since it leaves a weird taste in my mouth. So I've also been playing Fire Emblem Heroes for I started probably right around the I believe it was right around the results of the first Choose Your Legends banner. I chose Ike for the first time I had it, and then my account got lost due to my phone getting wet, and then I chose Roy on the second one. I played for a good year and a half, and then I stopped playing after that, and then I took a 2 year break and played Azur Lane. Then, when Azur Lane started to become a little bit more tedious than I wanted it to be, I brought it back up, and I immediately started enjoying it due to the fact that there were so many new units that I've never seen, or new units from the Three Houses game. But as I've been going, I've been getting more and more tired of the series. Not only the fact that IS seems to refuse to put in a daily pull system as opposed to giving you just one free pull on a banner and then charging you the rest, as well as keeping every single unit in the same kind of pools. So the 3 or 4 star year ones, they're sharing the pool with the year 5 units. And while I don't have think that there's necessarily anything to fully complain about that one, the game in and of itself is very it's not very free to play friendly from what I've learned. But then again, I do like to be a index perfectionist. I like completing the hero encyclopedia. I might actually start realizing that it's not worth it as much anymore and try skipping a couple of banners. I think the first banner that I ever fully skipped was the recent awakening banner with Flavia, Priam, Basilio, and then Ash, I believe. But I've started when I started looking into Project Ember. I don't think I really looked into it more than just seeing what it was, and I think I took a look at it. The graphics are absolutely beautiful. The added details that they add to the units are phenomenal. The fact that they changed one of the game's biggest flaws, the fact that you have so many units that start at level 1 and have to be babied for most of the game. Um, the fact that they actually made every single unit a viable unit, so Roy can now promote at any time using a Night Crest instead of promoting specifically Oh, let's see. One chapter before you fight King Zephiel, the main antagonist of the series, of the Fire Emblem 6 series. Unless you consider Idun more of that case, in which case, more power to you. I like the fact that Kath now is a thieves. I actually like the fact that they can promote as opposed to being stuck at 20 speed. So this now means that you can, and the fact that the added bonus of not having a cap to steal, so you can steal even if you're slower. It's not. It's a nice little cherry on top. It just means that you have a better ability. I think the thieves being able to promote into rogues is a beautiful addition. I also like the fact that they balanced a lot of the units. So now, instead, the warriors that you get, so Wade, Lot, Bartray, are all definitely on par with Berserkers. I used to always have the belief that Berserkers were superior just because they had a bonus crit and then they could still wield their hand axes, tomahawk, short axes without taking any kind of um, distance penalty. I do like the fact that archers have the ability to attack from 2 to 3 range. I always consider archers to be. I think someone actually mentioned this in a comment on one of the playthroughs by Mangs. Awesome playthroughs, by the way. That archers are essentially just worse mages. So a lot of enemies have higher defense than resistance may, or you'll fight a lot more physical units than magic units up until a certain point, and then certain chapters you'll have more magic units. But the biggest thing was that bow units could not counterattack at melee range. While I don't think this was strange, I do think they could have altered it so it was either there's a weapon that gives you 1 to 2 range, like give the short bow that kind of range, or give a penalty for attacking at melee range, as opposed to just saying that, oh, if your unit gets surrounded by opponent's units, either have a rescue stave, hope that your other units are next to it, or just hope that they don't die. That was a beautiful addition. I think one of the two favorite things I had were making Sophia a better dodger. Sophia was always one of the units that I loved to use, but hated training. Because for Sophia, she started as a level 1 shaman with absolutely, how do I put this delicately, horrible stats. And she was one of the cases where she could not even wield her basic tome without taking a hit to speed or a penalty to her stats. So as opposed to some of the other units that you, especially these shamans, specifically Ray, that you get just 2 chapters before, higher leveled, easily able to promote automatically with the added bonus of having enough constitution to wield their basic weapon without taking any kind of debuff. I love the fact that they added also the bonus to axes. Axes were particularly annoying to try and train up, aside from if you were going the berserker route where you don't need hit, you need crit. Then we had, I think the unit that wasn't necessarily the worst originally, but definitely required more tender love and care, was the female knight Gwendolyn that you got on chapter 8. Her bases are, I would actually say, even more atrocious than Sophia. She was a very short movement range unit, and she was also joining right before either a lava stage, so being able to move heavily was a very good thing, or if you decided that you're not going to get any of the the side quest weapons, she would be going straight into the Western Isles, a axe heavy period of 3 chapters. Or no, wait, 4 chapters, because it began with 9 and ended at 12. Do I fault the developers? I really can't say. but I love the fact that they buffed not only a lot of the hit rates, they also changed the knights to be able to wield multiple different weapons as opposed to just being lance-locked. Let's see. I also love the fact that I think I repeated this multiple times. I love the fact that all of the units no longer start at level 1. They instead start at least level 5 or 6, depending on when you recruit them. Um, and I just do love the effect that the game in and of itself is much. It's it's challenging, but in a good way. It's not challenging by the sense that the game is hard by design. It's hard based on just steady increase of difficulty, not like an increase in difficulty up to for the first a steady increase from like the first 5 chapters, and then when you get to the 6th chapter, the map decides to bum rush you with all a bunch of units that you don't really not want to deal with. But also the fact that a lot of the units just got massive buffs. I don't mind that Faye took hits to her growth rates. I love the fact that they actively decided to make archers better by giving them a better weapon. I love the fact that they added more weapons to the actual game. And then I feel like they also added more experience points to defeating enemies. And then I also like the fact that they gave a lot of new equipment, especially in the form of preferred weapons, giving the pre-promoted, not necessarily Jagans, a better chance of surviving or just a better chance of being used. I remember when I played 6 on the Game Boy Advance, there was one particular chapter that I only used the second pre-promote that you get, only for that chapter, mainly for just clearing the map easier, as opposed to trying to force it on foot. So, to the people who designed Project Ember, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for reigniting my passion for this game series. And again, no pun intended on that one. Hopefully the developers at IS are paying attention to the love and support that a lot of people are giving the game. A lot of the FE YouTubers who are actively supporting the series, actively making full-on playthroughs of these games. And hopefully they'll learn from their mistakes. I do believe that I will share some opinions on Fire Emblem 6, more so on what a remake should be, for another video, but thank you for listening to this